start this again. And we have Daryl Stern. And Daryl, where are you calling in from?
I am here in sunny, it was snowed this morning, but we're doing better now. Aurora, Colorado, Denver, Colorado.
Ah, someone else from Colorado. That's wonderful. One of the reasons why I really love doing these is because we get people from all over the world who call in to educate the audience. And because this will be seen by a global audience, you're now building your influence, which I really appreciate. So Susie, for example, is calling in from the UK, so it's rather late. Anika is calling in from Sweden, so really late where she is. So they're not really liking me right now, but it's okay. Daryl, I'm gonna mute myself and take myself off camera. And
all right.
We have a half an hour. Teach us what you know.
Awesome. Super, super cool. Hi, guys. First off, hats off to Catherine. That was extremely informative. That was extremely uplifting. And what a wealth of knowledge Catherine is. And thank you so much for everything that you just gave, all those 3 offers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to talk to you guys about digital marketing today. And I want to do a little exercise here, and I want you to put a yes in the chat room if you've been a little bit frustrated and been told a lot of different things in terms of what you need to do to market yourself and your books and your influence and all this as an author online. If it's been a little bit confusing with all this different kind of stuff that you have to do with SEO and Facebook and now Twitter and Snapchat, Instagram, all this different kind of stuff, gets a little confusing. So I'm going to clear all that up for you guys today. First, I'm going to start off and talk a little bit about me, just a brief introduction. My name is Daryl Stern. I grew up in the theater back east. I was a child actor. And for those of you that are old enough to remember, there were cartoon series called Schoolhouse Rock during the Saturday morning cartoons on ABC television, which is now owned by Disney, of course. And some of those songs were I'm Just a Bill and Interplanet Janet. And what they were was to educate kids about different things during the Saturday morning entertainment. So in 1983 and 1984, I auditioned for the part of Scooter Computer on 4 cartoons that they did. It was the only series of cartoons in Schoolhouse Rock called Scooter Computer and Mr. Chips. And this was to introduce kids to computers and what they could do and what they couldn't do, and philosophically what the heck a computer was and what it was going to mean in our lives way back in 1983. So I was the voice of Scooter Computer. So you can Google that and say that today you were on a webinar, on a presentation seminar here with a guy who was actually in Schoolhouse Rock. So my life has had 2 parallel different things going on at once. One is that I grew up as an actor, and later on I became a playwright and a dramatist. I published several different plays and scripts and went on to be in the New Jersey Young Playwrights Festival. When I was in high school and college, I was practically writing scripts full time, doing all kinds of different theater, leading all the way up to my full stage production 2.5-hour play that I wrote that was produced at Drew University. At the same time, my father was a philosophy professor, my mom was a school teacher, and my dad taught me business ethics and cognitive thinking and logic. So I was tinkering around with things like an Atari 400 computer, which was one of the first little PC kind of computers back in the early 80s, got a computer basic cartridge and started learning programming. So I'm kind of right and left brained in terms of the logic of how computer systems work, things like the algorithms and Google and all that, and the human experience. Pablo Picasso once said that computers are useless. They can only give us answers. Okay, it's the human experience of what we're doing with these tools that keep us going and keep us constantly searching for new answers to new things. So I wanted to figure out a way, since we're now in a media-driven world with YouTube and videos and Facebook and social media, and a way to figure out how to use media to drive both your social and your SEO at the same time. And I pretty much figured out a way to do that. So I'm going to give you a bit of my workshop right now, which is called Media is the Center of Your Marketing. If you got a pad and you got a piece of paper, you're going to be doing some fun things as we go along, and I'm going to show you some really cool examples. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So media is the center of your marketing. What do I mean by media? What is a piece of media? A play could be a piece of media. A work of art on a canvas could be a piece of media, just the way a painter uses a canvas as their medium and paints and oils and all that. Also, a book is a piece of media. Chapters in a book are a piece of media. You might have seen, obviously, memes with quotes from different types of people. Images can be media. Media and the creation of media is the center of your marketing. If there's one thing I want you to leave with today after this presentation is when you wake up in the morning and go, how the heck should I market this? So, what can I do to market myself as an author or market this particular book that I'm coming with? Concentrate on creating great media. So media being the center of your marketing comes in 4 different forms that do 4 different kinds of things. The very, very first is called what we call inbound marketing. So for those of you not familiar with the term, and if you're totally not familiar with this, I'm going to explain it some to you, but do, talk to me afterwards if you don't know a lot about it. I'll start off by saying this. Outbound marketing is old school marketing. Outbound marketing is a TV commercial that interrupts your day where you didn't even want to see this TV commercial just pops up on the screen. A telemarketer who calls you out of clear blue sky asking you to refinance your mortgage this afternoon when you had no intention of wanting to refinance your mortgage this afternoon. That's outbound marketing, sending a postcard to everyone in town. Inbound marketing is focusing on what the true benefit is of working with you, of reading your book, even of reading a chapter in your book, and displaying and it's describing and acting out what the benefit is of your book. The benefit is not something vague like, oh, it saves me time and money, or you'll learn this general concept. It's something really specific that happens in the aftermath of having read your book or your article or your piece that you're working on. I ask you this. Have you ever gone back to your mailing list to people that have bought your book, I don't care whether it's fiction or nonfiction, whatever type of book that it is, and said, hey, how is your life different now that you've read my book, than it was before? Because that true benefit is what you really need to turn around to market what you do. I want to show you a specific example. This is a friend of mine. Her name is Faith Young. She's a very, very successful real estate agent here. Her name is Faith Young. She's big into the study of the law of attraction, and she wrote a book on how she lives in complete abundance called What Would Faith Do? She literally branded her name, okay? She came to me with just a book. She said, I have a book, I have a platform, I have a message, but I just have a book, and I want to do something online. So this is what I came up with. Every one of these panels that you see is the picture from that particular chapter in her book. So you'll notice some of them say, I'm your number one biggest fan. It's about how can anyone else believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? Becoming your own number one biggest fan. One of them is called, you will always have more than enough. For those people that are always saying to themselves, I'm living in scarcity, why me? I can't have anything. So what we did was we took each one of these chapters and we reverse engineered it. So as you roll over these panels, you'll see that each individual chapter has its antithesis as the panel on it. Here's what I'm talking about. If I want to attract people into this chapter and get started reading the book on becoming your number one biggest fan, I want to bring inbound people that are beating the living crap out of themselves. In other words, people that are their own biggest critic. So each and every chapter of the book has its own landing page. We shot 96 videos for this. One of them is going to come up right now. I won't play the whole thing. You can explore it later.
And I believe often people are their number one critics. If you're your number one critic, you're going to attract more critics. I want you to become your number one fan.
So what this is called is not just inbound marketing, but what we call list segmentation. Now, I might be getting a little woo-woo, a little bit beyond, what we can cover just in this half hour. But what I'm talking about is that the specific ways that you can help people have specific needs and desires that people have and then they will sign up for it because you're giving them the hope that you can fix that one particular problem. So as you're looking at your book and you're looking to market it, I know a lot of people might just say, well, have a landing page and just say, woo, give away the whole book for free. But there's specific reasons to read each chapter. There's specific pain points and needs and desires and hopes that people have that then that particular chapter, that particular book of your book it helps people with. So when we separate out those different things, and when you go Sternstorming with me, we'll actually create a script for each part of your book, for each benefit that there is of what you do. Okay, so there's part number one, which is inbound marketing. The next part, and inbound marketing, the whole goal of it is to give people hope. In other words, to give them the hope that you can fix something that they need fixed, something that they really want done. The second part of this is called content marketing. Now, traditional marketing is where you go out there and tell people you're a rock star. Read my book. It's the #1 bestseller. You know, it's the greatest book ever. Come on, guys. And most people go, well, what is it? What is it about? Why should I read it? Right? Content marketing is where you get to demonstrate what you do. So if you all got your pen and your paper out there, right? Your notepad, or open up a notepad on your computer. I want you to do this as I show you this example. I want you to write down 10 things that you can really demonstrate. I don't care if it's how to make this mug, or how to write a chapter in a book, or how to get how to find a great publisher that's actually in sync with, I don't know, the type of book that you want to read, that you want to publish. Whatever the case may be, I want you to write down things, 10 things that you can teach. And then after that, we're going to do another exercise that's about 10 things that you can actually demonstrate. I mean, 10 things 10 different things that you have been inspired by, like 10 people that have inspired you. Okay. This is the big example that I wanted to get to. This is Saul's Automotive. Saul is an auto mechanic here in Englewood, Colorado. He has a shop way off on the side of the road. He's not even visible from the main street. As I scroll down, we actually made him not 1 or 2 or 3, but 60 landing pages, one for each and every type of car that there is. Okay, this is again going back to, okay, what are all the different features of your business? What are all the different books that you've written? Why have you written them? What are all the different types of landing pages that we can create that are your anchor pages? I'll be a little literal on you, okay? We call this the World Wide Web. Spiders make webs, right? The first thing that a spider is going to do when he makes a web is make those anchor lines, right? Right across and up and down and all this. Those anchor pages are your stakes in the ground that say, this is what you can do, right? And when they're written in a way that creates inbound marketing, that gives people the hope that you can prove that, you know, the hope that you can solve a particular problem, those become your main lead generations or your main funnels. Okay, now let's get to the content marketing part. This is the fun part. I went down to Saul's place. Saul is a genius. He has a master's degree in physics. He's very articulate. He knows so much about cars. But before that, he's actually been a brilliant businessman most of his life. He got jealous that his older sister got a car to drive around from his parents. So he decided, well, bleep this. I'm going to make my own business. He started shoveling snow here in Denver, just locally. Built the business up, had a bunch of people out there doing snow plowing. He actually had a huge snow plowing business and sold the business to pay for college. And this is how brilliant he is. So I knew he was really great, right, at talking about this stuff. And you may have something that you talk about every single day, or at different local networking groups, or when you go to your local Toastmasters, or just with your family and just with your friends, something that you're always telling these stories over and over again, but they're not digitalized. And we have the power now, using this little thing in our pockets, to digitalize everything that we know, everything that we can demonstrate. So I went down to Saul's place, and we started videoing him talking about and demonstrating himself there fixing these different types of cars. We didn't just do this once or twice. We did this 135 times inside of 8 months. So now within 8 months, Saul actually had 60 landing pages and another 160 video blogs. Here's the clincher that no one else is doing. We had every single word out of Saul's mouth transcribed. All right? Now, you guys are writers, so perhaps you can write great content, but then what we would want to do is after you've written it, have you do video and have you do a video that goes along with the writing. In this case, Saul was great at talking about this stuff, so we literally had him talk about it, and then we transcribed every word out of his mouth. Here's the next part, and this is the key to your SEO. When you want to have influence, right? When you want to be a leader in your industry, I use this analogy that's a very good for, writers, a type of analogy. If you go to the public library and there's some pamphlet, right, from your competition, one of those little trifold-like things that's 3 pages, and then there is sitting next to that the ultimate resource and guide on how to write a book and publish a book by the lovely, amazing Catherine, right? And you flip the book over, and in the index, there's things like how to get self-published, what not to do when you're publishing, how to find a publisher. All these different terminologies and terms that are in there that then in the book, it has all those page numbers, right, of where that terminology is used. That's what I'm doing here, because every time that we mention Jeep, it goes back to that main Jeep landing page. If he mentions a particular type of brake or brake pedal or shock absorber, I've got some other page on there where he's mentioned the same type of thing. So I'm going to take some questions from you guys because this can work for practically anybody doing any industry. But on top of all this, we really want to make sure that we're getting specific with the specific benefit of what you do and the specific needs and desires and pain points and how they, not you, right, but how your audience describes this pain that they're in, that then your book is the solution to, or even a chapter of your book is the solution to. So we did some research and realized that there's a problem with Jeeps. Lots of people drive Jeeps in Colorado because all the off-mountain, off-road driving up in the mountains and all that. A lot of people have Jeeps. Well, there's a problem with Jeeps. If you drive your Jeep for a long time and you don't properly maintain it, the steering wheel can start to wobble, the whole steering wheel can crack, and you can go off the road. It's a known thing that people who own Jeeps have called the Jeep death wobble, okay? Talk to Saul about it. He goes, I know all about that. I fixed it on my Jeep myself. Let's do a video about it and be very specific. As you notice, this is called We Can Fix the Jeep Death Wobble in Englewood, Colorado with a Lifetime Guarantee. This video is 6.5 minutes long. It's not 2 or 3 minutes, which, by the way, when you're looking at blogging and content, have you ever heard of that? Well, a blog should be 200 words to 400 words or 400 words to 600 words. If you can write a master's thesis on how to fix the Jeep death wobble, that's 1,200 to 1,800 words, you write it, okay? Because Google will always look at who has the most best authoritative content on whatever it is that you are talking about. So with these videos, this is actually out there 24/7 playing, and it has had over 72,751 views on YouTube so far, and Saul has made over $600, almost $700,000 directly in Jeep sales from just one of these pieces of media. Now, I challenge you to think about this. There was a reason why you wrote your book, right? Deep down. There was this emotional thing in you that said, I really need to tell this story because I really know that there's a benefit to it, that it will help people who, fill in the blanks, who, right, are hurting in this way, who are repeating this pattern over and over again and can't fix it. And you wanted to, in writing this book, give them hope, give them solutions. So the art and science of content marketing and inbound marketing is looking from the outside in, is going deep inside of you and spinning everything around and reverse engineering it. So when people are searching for what you have, it's kind of like playing Jeopardy. You are the solution, so what's the problem, right? I'll give you a fun activity to do. Go search for the topic of your book in your town. Just go search on Google. Then hit the video search button. Is there any videos at all? If there's none, then we're in luck. If the search only finds giant national things like, let's say, Yelp or Wikipedia or whatever, and there's no blog, no nothing with specifically that question that you can answer, you need to write that article and get that out on Google. So here's the other end result, is that when I searched for Bentley Repair in Englewood, Colorado, Saul wanted to completely conquer and beat out all the local dealerships for luxury cars, all right? Here's what happens when you search for it. He is number 1. He's number 2 and number 3 because of, what did I say before? Video. And he's number 1 on the local map search as well. So here's what I wanted to know, and here's what I want you guys to challenge with. And I have about 12 more minutes. I want to open this up to questions, but I wanted to show you one more thing before we go to the questions. Saul was a huge client of mine. He still works with me. We're on a maintenance plan right now. By the way, every one of those videos, as 135 videos that he has, have also been individually uploaded into Facebook and put out with mentions, which is the @ symbol for the fan pages for Chevrolet and Porsche and Lamborghini and all the big, and Bentley and all the big, brand cars. We also found the Twitter handles for each and every type of car that there is. This is, again, something else that I don't have quite time to go into today, which is called social media research, which is figuring out who you should mention, what tags to use when you put out your different media. So Saul was a very big client of mine. I did all the work for him, all of that, 135 videos, all the transcriptions, the SEO, the Facebook, all of it. So he was a huge client of mine at $5,500 a month. Big, huge project. So what I wanted to do, going back to my early days as a teacher and my father being a philosophy professor, a school professor, and my mom being a school teacher, is I love to teach. So what I created is my Stern Marketing Academy. And what I've done so far, and I continue to expand this all the time, is create literally video lessons on how I do everything from start to finish, how your Facebook page can have a personality, making the most of Instagram, how to reuse the videos that you've already posted on Facebook, what to do on that crazy thing that our president's always using. Called Twitter, right? What to do with your video blogging and SEO, and how to match up all your keywords. Working with Divi, which is the website theme that I use. That's really amazing. LinkedIn, how to go live on Facebook, all those different kinds of things. And that, I'll tell you more about that in just a sec. I want to open this up for questions, but that's at sternmarketingacademy.com. And I do have a special promo code in there called Get Stern, where you can actually do one of two of my programs for 50% off. And we do 3, not 1 or 2, but 3 live masterminds on my private Facebook group each and every week, where you can come in and ask any question you want about digital marketing. And everybody that signs up gets a 2-hour Stern storming session with me. That's where we actually go through, okay, here's all the features, right? Here's all the features of your book and what it's about and what it teaches and all those kind of things. We're not selling the features. We're not marketing features. We've got to write the dramatic scripts that show people the benefit of it, and that prove to them that and give them the hope that reading your book will solve a specific issue that they're having. So I'll open this up right now. If you guys want to unmute yourself, you can. I want to take any questions that you have for the last 8 minutes. And Tony, if you have any questions, let me know. Do connect with me all over social media. You can find the Stern Storming page on Facebook, and I will put my actual link to my Facebook profile, so you can all make sure that you friend me today. I do have also, if you want to take a screenshot while we're talking, these are the links. I'm going to boot up this again. There it is. Beep, 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 beep. So I'll leave this up here. Whoops, there it is. There it goes. I'm operating all this technical stuff. So there's my Calendly link. There's sternmarketingacademy.com. That's my email address. Do connect with me on Facebook and all that. Let's start a conversation. I do want to make a 30-minute Stern Storming session with each one of you just to get to know you, see where you're at, see if we can jam out on some really creative ways to wake some media that will drive people to you and get them interested in what you guys have to do, what you guys do and what you write about.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, and thank you. That was pretty amazing. One of the things that I'm really happy about are the speakers who speak at my events. They're on the ball. They know what they're talking about, and I really appreciate that. Really quickly, what are some top mistakes that you see writers making when it comes to marketing?
Well, most of the issue that most people are having across the board, like not just authors, is that we're stuck in the I, me syndrome. And the I, me syndrome is read my book. It's the great I, me. My book's about this. I, me, I, me. Right? Where instead we should be talking about the reason why you wrote, no, not just why you wrote the book, but specifically reaching out to people and saying, hey, have you been stuck in this pattern? Have you been hurting in this way? Are you sick and tired of A, B, C, or D? This book just might inspire you, to break apart every chapter of your book and see, well, what is the true benefit of it? What is the benefit of reading the book? And also to go back and ask the people that have been reading your books, well, what is the what is the benefit? What has happened to them as a result of it? That's the number one key thing that I see. It's all talking about me, and you're stuck in your own bubble because, of course, as writers, we're stuck in our own bubble of ourselves. But what I love is to add emotion to it and to add drama to it. When people ask me, "Are you doing SEO or Facebook ads?" and I say, "Yeah, those are just tools." If it was 20 years ago, we'd be using the phone, the newspaper, and radio ads. That's just the tools that we have at our disposal. What I want to do is put on a full-scale theatrical production that gives people the hope and desire that your book is what they've been looking for.
I love it. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, sounds good. So, Daryl, I'm going to ask you to stick around.
Whoa, sorry, I couldn't find my microphone.
There's Susie.
That was awesome. It was just so powerful. And I love the way that you integrated the film slots, the film, I don't know what you call them, into your presentation. How difficult is that to do?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I have this keynote program up. So I'm showing you the slides from that. But then the rest I'm just showing my website and the YouTube channels and all that. So I have Zoom has screen sharing. I do all my work on Zoom, by the way. Zoom is great. For $40, you upgrade your Zoom and you can do webinars. I do my live group coaching like Tony has set up on there. I think that's what you're asking me. The other part is that I really love to optimize media, right? All the stories that you can tell, Susie, have a place in your content marketing, in your blog. But here's what I do is when we do our Stern Storming session, which, like I said, I want to do a half hour with all you guys, some of what you're talking about is your content marketing. That goes over here. Like that's that kind of marketing. And some of it is your inbound marketing, which is giving people hope. The real other issue, Susie, is most of us are giving away the sale. In other words, giving away the farm, if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I have.
We're on and on about it so much, and we're giving so much of it away, and we're that there's nothing left to buy. I mean, I'll be quite honest. Yeah. A lot of people are even doing, free whole copies of their books and and it's almost coming from a desperation, scarcity. Like, well, let me just get it out there and give it away, and maybe one day people will buy from me.
Love me.
Well, right. Love me, right?
Yeah.
But if it's free, you can always come down in price, right? You can always have a sale, but it's hard to go up.
Yeah.
right? So what we've got to do in theater and in your imagination as writers is let's imagine you already are the New York Times bestseller, multi-million-dollar author, and let's present everything as if you are that already, right?
Great.
Do that visually, with graphics, with the videos, the production of this full-scale theatrical thing. So right out of the box, you're already there, right? And that's both a mindset thing and then also a technology thing too, with what you put into your tags, what the title of your thing should be, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And I just do love the way you've taken your Stern surname and used it as well as part of your marketing tool. I thought that was great.
Hashtag get Stern. So by the way, I am a self-published author. I did this just out of my own heart. I was misdiagnosed as bipolar in my 20s and 30s. It wasn't until 2006 that I went to a doctor. I had type 2 diabetes. I was all over the place mentally. And the doctor said, you make no testosterone and no HGH. Then, just 3 years ago, I just turned 47 this past week.
You're the same age as my daughter.
A lot of people were born in April, and that means back in July, a lot of people got it hot on. But anyway, 9 months ago. So anyway, that must be the big month. I'm just saying, Tackle 9, why is everybody born in April? Why? The heat of the side, the heat is on. So anyway, I used to do stand-up comedy too and all that kind of stuff. But so my book, so then finally 3 years ago, the doctor called me, they do an MRI, and they said I have a squashed pituitary gland. So I finally now know at age 43 that I had brain damage from when I was born. I seizured when I badly.
Oh, no.
Now the joke is that middle-aged men who have a lot of testosterone lose their hair. That's one of the reasons why I'm so bald. So my one-liner to that is, I'm keeping the hair. Thank you very much. No skirts, don't need try the VL Tony in this.
All right.
Oh, great.
And on that note, Angela, you had a question. Please unmute yourself. Angela? Are you there? Wait, you disappeared.
That's okay. Angela will come back. I'm going to put my link to my my schedule link in here. So everybody click on it right now to make sure that you go and schedule your half hour with me. And then, we'll take it from there.
All right, Angela, I've unmuted you. You had a question?
Angela.
Yes, no, maybe? Okay, never mind. We appreciate you calling in and sticking around. Angela did type in whether or not this will be on be available later on, and the answer is yes. I'm gonna post it onto all of the speakers' Facebook pages, and so you can watch it at your leisure and go from there. But we do hope that you stick around, because we're going to do not everything is going to be recorded. So we hope you do stick around. Now, moving on, I am going to